Well, it's here. After 3.5 years, I'm getting my TC ready to sell. I've already gone through and got some of it done. This is just pretty much the cleanup. Oh my gosh. So it's been a few days since I showed that I got a Miata, and I've been going through actually both cars. I've been going through the TC, kind of getting it all cleaned up, redoing some of the wires, making sure it's all good for the next owner. But I've also been working on my Miata. The AC needs some work. I've been trying to tinker with it, getting some of the leaves and debris out, and there's a couple other things I'm going to try with it, but we're going to work on that later. Right now I'm just going to go through and explain what I've done here to get it ready. So I went through the wiring harnesses for the head unit here, got them all taped up together. I soldered them together, that way if it comes to the point where the next owner wants to replace it, it's a lot easier to do than to just cut the wires with crimp connectors. I don't like doing stereos with crimp connectors. I went ahead and did crimp connectors for some of these other wires that aren't as important or even as numerous, but for the most part it's just getting in here, cleaning up some of these wires. I had some issues because I got some custom wires and wiring done, so I just labeled everything, made sure that the next person to dig around in here knows what's what. But for the most part, it's just cleaning and tidying. It's been outside under a tree for the past several days, so there's a lot of stuff all over the windshield and it's gonna need a bath. So a good vacuuming, a good bath, a good wipe down of all the pleather, the fake plastic leather stuff that's in here. Just make it all nice and shiny, and as you can see back here, I've got parts and tools and pieces everywhere. Alright, so over here in the door, I had to pull this panel off to get to the lights up in here. I hot glued the lights on a lot better than I did before, just to make sure they don't fall off. I took 3M double-sided adhesive tape and I put it on the lights down here. I soldered it, heat shrinked it, and then I was having a connection problem with one of the wires up in here, so I took that, connected it really well, hot glued it so it stays. Pretty much all that's left is to do the same on this door over here, and then move to the back to put the carpet on in the back, clean up all the stuff out there, clean up all the stuff that's down here, reconnect the ground for the stereo here, and then put the waterfall pieces back on and give it a bath. That is pretty much it. Otherwise, the Scion is ready to be sold. Hopefully that's going to go through in a couple weeks or so. I have somebody in line for it, and we'll just see what happens. Alright, so I've gone ahead and reinstalled everything. I've set the clocks for both of these. Everything's plugged in. Everything works. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and check the sound. Every audio person has their own music or audio to test with, and right now the best one I found is Some Chords by deadmau5. It's going to test the lights of the speakers, it's going to test all the speakers themselves. So let's go get the car all closed up and we'll figure that out. everything seems to work just like it should. All that's left for me to do is the driver door panel, get all this junk out of here, put the carpet back in, give it a good wash when it's actually time to sell. Fix the mirror here, that's kind of important. Once all that's done, my car is ready to leave the nest. It's sad, but it's got to be done. So let's get to fixing the door, and then we'll move on to the back. Alright, so because it's so cramped over here right now, I'm not going to show how to remove the door panel, but it's pretty simple. You've got a screw here behind the little cover, and you've got one back in here, and then you've got one in here. So to pry this piece off, you've got a little spot right here and a spot right here. Just pop it off, unscrew it, and then you've got plastic tabs all the way around. Just start from the bottom down here, pull, pull, and eventually it'll come off. Then you just disconnect the harness for the locks and the windows. Make sure you clear the handle, and then make sure you clear the plastic bit over here covering the wiring loom for the power mirrors. That's it. Then you just pull it out. I'm going to take it inside. I'm going to get to soldering and wiring up the lights. Alright, so now it's one of those times where I need to point out that things haven't exactly gone as planned. So I set the clock at just before 1 o'clock, and it's almost 3. I have been working on this door for almost 2 hours. It took me an hour before I gave up because I couldn't disconnect the switches from the door panel. My fingers almost started bleeding. In fact, I did on my wrist a little bit. It was so aggravating. It hurt. So I had to pull the car outside and do all of this outside with it connected. I've secured it the best I could with hot glue. I couldn't get up this way, but down here it's secured very well, and that's just the best I'm gonna have to do. So now it's a matter of tidying up, putting panels back in place, and screwing in the trim pieces and everything for the doors, and I'll be done. Alright, car has been vacuumed, put back together, it's in running condition, it is ready to sell. The only thing that I can think of that I need to do is get out what little personal effects there are, but I can do that later. I'm tired, I'm ready to be done. I'm practically swimming in sweat because it's so humid out here. So there you have it. Next time you will probably be seeing something with the Miata. Take care.